Hello and welcome back to DJ Camel Reviews, and today it's the big one. It's the Mission Impossible Dead Reckoning Part 1 official DJ Camel video film criticism analysis review thing. A film review. So I'll give you the context. Obviously, if you know me, as you will if you're watching this video, then I've got my Mission Impossible Dead Reckoning Part 1 and Part 2 mug. So I am a massive Mission Impossible fan, and I just love this series. Watching Ghost Protocol in 2011 was one of the first, I think, adult or non-animated movies I saw at the cinema. Maybe not the first one, but it would have been one of the first, I imagine. And then watching Skyfall a year later, I love me a good spy movie. So Mission Impossible is my favourite franchise. The last Mission Impossible movie is perhaps my favourite film ever. Just awesome, great stunts, wonderful cinematography, wonderful music. It's perfect, and it's an action movie, but there's good story and some really lovely emotional moments in that as well. So obviously very hyped for this film. Supposed to come out in 2021. COVID happened, so it's summer 2023, and then part 2 is going to be coming out. Mission Impossible 8 is probably going to be coming out in 2025 now. Should be next year, but writers and actors strike, so perhaps could be delayed another year. Now, brilliant reviews for this one. It was at one point certified on Rotten Tomatoes at 99%. It's 96% now. Lots of 4-star reviews, lots of 5-star reviews. They love to do a trailer when the films come out and the reviews have come out, where it says, Tom Cruise has outdone himself and all that stuff. In an actual trailer, they can put the amazing reviews in. So, and I have sort of done a mild review, first initial reaction video, and also on my Instagram. Same with No Time to Die. I wanted to see it again, and I think comparing this to No Time to Die, the last James Bond movie, is actually, I think they're fairly comparable, not only just in the story, but in how I feel about the film. Massive hype, and perhaps didn't live up to the massive hype, but it is satisfying. It's a good film, obviously. It's a Mission Impossible movie. So, a little bit more on that No Time to Die link. Both are pretty much exactly the same length at 2 hours 45 minutes. Spy movies with an aging star, sort of doing their last hurrah. Perhaps Dead Reckoning Part 1 and Part 2 could be the end of Tom Cruise's Ethan Hunt in the Impossible Mission Force. Maybe he'll die, maybe he'll retire, who knows. Although, of course, Tom Cruise has said he'd like to do what Harrison Ford has done and still play his main character until he's 80, so perhaps Part 2 isn't going to be at the end. But it feels like the series is culminating, and it's a bit goofier. Extremely mild, spoilers for the plot of the movie, the villainous technology. Same with No Time to Die. We didn't know what it was until the film came out. It was nanobots. This one is an artificial intelligence, that has gone rogue, similar to Ethan Hunt in 6 of the 7 movies. This film has the record, I think, probably for the least amount of screen time before Ethan Hunt goes rogue. He actually goes rogue after maybe 2 minutes of him being on screen, which is good. Just get straight on it. It's probably going to be a 5-hour sort of story with Part 2. Go rogue immediately, and it again plays with that idea that so Christopher McQuarrie is the director. He's written and directed the 5th movie, the 6th movie, and now 7 and 8. The themes he's been able to intertwine into all the movies he's directed in the series are this whole thing. There are only few rules in Mission Impossible movies. You have to have the sort of your mission should you choose to accept, and this film finally, mild spoilers, maybe I'll just put mild spoilers in the title. Ethan Hunt chooses to not accept the mission. He goes on the mission he's told to do. He needs to get 2 parts of a key that unlock and perhaps control the AI. The AI is called the Entity, and very zeitgeisty at the moment. Artificial intelligence is in the news. It's part of the reason why people are striking in the industry, because AI might take their jobs in some ways. So yeah, and this is an anti-AI film, and so that gives it a really sort of new and exciting villain to face off against. Isai Morales, he's been in Batman for like 2 seconds as a character they were going to set up for a sequel, and they never made it. He plays Gabriel, who has links to Ethan Hunt's past. This will just be a spoiler review, I think. Similar to the villain in No Time to Die, and it's a little bit dodgy how it's linked to his past, but he is Gabriel. He is the messenger for his god, the AI, basically. And again, it's a globe-trotting adventure. They go to Abu Dhabi, the desert, 2 parts there, and an airport and a desert. They go to Italy in Rome and Venice, and then it ends up filmed in Norway and Britain, set in on the Orient Express going through the Austrian Alps. There was debate: is it going to be set in Norway? Is it going to be set in Switzerland? There are Alps in Switzerland. Italy, because the other scenes are in Italy, but no, it's the Austrian Alps. That's a shame, because they've already been to Austria in this series, in Rogue Nation and 5 to the Vienna Opera House. Would have been nice to have it set in a new country for the series, but oh well. So cool new villain, a bit goofier and a bit more sci-fi than the previous movies, but over the 2 parts, I think having a villain where you're not fully sure of what this AI actually wants. I've seen some interesting theories. Does it even actually want to be destroyed? Because all the government agencies want to control it. Ethan Hunt is the only person who wants to destroy it. Perhaps that is why the AI sort of piqued his interest, and like, hey Ethan, I'm gonna get you, and then actually attract him to try and destroy it. Now that's an interesting theory. So amazing submarine sequence opens it, very much like The Hunt for Red October. This is just full spoilers now. The Hunt for Red October is an amazing submarine movie starring Sean Connery, and the sort of one of the things about the submarine in that movie is that it goes under the radar, literally. No one knows where it is. I mean, in this film, the AI is on the submarine. It's sort of sent to the Russian submarine by the Americans, and to sort of control it. It sabotages it. It gets it to blow up its own submarine, and then so AI is at the bottom of the ocean, but it's got out through the internet, and this is kind of complicated stuff, but it was really good. So a really interesting opening, then a cool shootout and a horse chase in the desert, a really fantastically tense scene in an airport, the car chase in Rome, and the final fight on top of a train, and then under a train and in a train, and carriages crashing down an exploding bridge. That is those 2 sequences are the real standouts, and the action is definitely what you come here for. However, no matter how wonderful those are, I think the new characters, and the sort of humorous caper hijinks aspect of this film is what this film probably does more than any of the others. I do have some criticisms, which I'll get onto, but there's a Briggs and a Degas, who are 2 government agents after Ethan Hunt the whole time, played wonderfully by Shea Wiggum, who's a terrific actor, and Greg Tarzan Davis, who was also in Top Gun Maverick, so it's nice to see him come back. They're really dynamic and, small roles, and same with Pom Klementieff, who's I think a French-Korean actress, and she speaks French in this, but not really much. Her body movement and body language sells the character completely as this crazy assassin who has a really interesting arc through the film. And then you got Isai Morales as Gabriel, who's a pretty good villain, and definitely want to see more of him in the next movie, but it's nice that he had a really kind of cool musical soundtrack for him as well, and some cool villainous themes, which these movies don't really do themes for characters, but another character which has its own wonderful sort of charming leitmotif is Grace, played by Hayley Atwell, who I think has deserved a big role for a long time, and this is definitely it. She plays Grace, not an art thief, but a thief, and so it felt a little bit like the Thomas Crown affair, perhaps. Interesting to see a character who's not a spy come into this world and join up with Ethan Hunt and the IMF, and she's stealing this key that they need pretty much the whole movie. It's cool to see a character come in who's not a spy and looks at this world and like, this is all crazy. You know, got magic masks that you can pull off. What is all of this? So she was really funny and really charming in the role. Tom Cruise and Hayley Atwell have wonderful chemistry. So good chemistry that even when the film was being shot, there were lots of dating rumours between the two of them, but that's been debunked. But watching this film, you can sort of tell that because the chemistry. But it's definitely a mentor thing, which is cool and very different to the relationship that Ethan and Ilsa Faust, who is in this movie, but isn't perhaps the lead female role, because that is Hayley Atwell's. Rebecca Ferguson's great in everything. She's going to be great in Dune Part 2, another Part 2, or part of a thing later this year in the desert again. And I've been watching her Apple TV show Silo, which she's the producer of as well. Fantastic year for her. I've been doing spoilers. She is fridged. She's killed off in Venice. When the film was being shot, we saw that Venice scene, and we're like, on that bridge, she gets stabbed in a pretty epic sword fight after Ethan has a fantastic running scene. Tom Cruise running is just, that's cinema right there. It's played very dramatically. She's not in the movie a huge amount, and I feel like if she'd been in it more prominently, then it would have been more emotional. But the story really here is seeing someone from outside the spy world grow and have a fantastic character arc, and actually go from someone who, probably runs away from problems to facing their problems and finding this sort of found family in the IMF with Grace's character. So that's the focus. But I've seen a lot of theories whether or not, she's actually dead or not. I think she is. I think everyone on Reddit and Twitter and Instagram, they're in denial. She's gone. But it was a pretty good way for the character to grow out. It could have been done much better, and that's definitely a flaw of the movie, I think. Ilsa Faust and Rebecca Ferguson as Ilsa Faust is one of the best things in any spy movie ever. So for her to die and not be in the next one is a shame. But it was played with good emotional weight. And there's a really romantic shot of Ethan and Ilsa, like, it's a will they, won't they, or a can they relationship. If your spy is going over the world, can you actually really have a relationship? There's a beautiful shot of them on a Venetian balcony, and then half an hour later there's an absolutely devastating one of Ethan on the same balcony, just alone. Very sad. Ethan Hunt has never been more well defined as a character. I watched a fantastic video earlier, the ever-changing identity of Ethan Hunt through these movies. The first 3 movies he doesn't really have a character, but or a consistent one, and then later on, he doesn't want to do these stunts. He wants to save everyone, and he has to do the stunt a ridiculous way, a ridiculous plan, enable to save everyone. So for him to finally not be able to save someone he cares about, that's that is the character, and you feel that loss. Never before has Ethan been under so much pressure in this movie, and he's fantastic in the movie. Everyone is. The cinematography, I'm wrapping up, I don't think I've got more than 15 minutes to do this video, is a step down from the last film. It's not shot on film, it's shot digitally, and I feel like these movies should be shot on analog, because that's what they really love. And so visually this movie doesn't really do it for me, but audibly, some of the sound effects are really well mixed, and particularly with the train scene and sort of going in and out of tunnels and the sort of the blasting of the wind. Fantastic stuff. This is an exhilarating movie. It's a step down. I'll be doing a Mission Impossible movie ranking soon, but go watch this on the biggest screen. It's funny, exhilarating, great new characters. Mission Impossible Dead Reckoning Part 1. Probably give it a solid 8 out of 10, and it is a worthy addition to the franchise, if not the best. So I'll see you again very soon on DJ Camel Reviews.